Hello, everyone, and welcome to our final session of today's Training Industry Learning Tech Showcase, Learning Management Systems, sponsored by Adobe, D2L, Litmos Instructor, and 360 Learning. So again, I'm Liz Faith, the Events Marketing Specialist here at Training Industry, and I'm thrilled to have you with us here today. Again, before I get started, I would like to quickly go over a few housekeeping items to help you interact with our speaker and get the most out of today's program. So let's open up those chat windows. Let us know how many sessions you've joined today. I know it's been a long 5-session event, but I would love to hear about how many sessions you have joined. And while you're doing so, feel free to use this chat window for any comments as well as questions. Keep your questions coming throughout. We do have the D2L team here to address them throughout, as well as some dedicated time at the end with our speakers. So please do not hesitate to plug those questions throughout. And once the session ends, a brief survey will appear in your browser. Please take a moment to share your feedback on the session and the speaker. And all of our sessions are being recorded and archived on trainingindustry.com, and you will receive a follow-up email from us that will include the link to the on-demand program for you to share with your team. Now, if this is your first Training Industry event, we would love to welcome you. Training Industry exists to make connections among learning and development professionals, and we offer tons of resources to support your role in L&D, like live events like today's showcase, as well as through articles on our website, our magazine, conferences, research reports, our membership, and our podcasts. We would also love to hear about what you've learned from today's session on social media, so please follow us on your favorite platform so we can continue the conversation. And without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our final speaker of today. We have Javneem Marwan, the Solutions Engineer at D2L. So with that, take it away, Javneem.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So I want to thank you guys all once again for coming to Scaling Learning and Delivery for a faster, more adaptive workplace. Now, I'm Javneet. I'm a solutions engineer here at D2L, and I've spent the last several years working with organizations that need to train people quickly, consistently, and at scale. A quick bit of background on D2L. We've been in the learning space for over 25 years. And in those 25 years, we've been helping organizations create engaging learning experiences at scale. Brightspace is our learning platform designed to support everything from onboarding, compliance training, to ongoing workforce development. And D2L is our company, which stands for Desire to Learn. With more than 2 million learners at over 1,400 organizations, at the end of the day, our goal is simple, and it's always been the same as it was 25 years ago: help organizations build learning that helps people perform better and adapt faster. Now, as I go through some of these slides, I would love to hear in the chat, what are some of the biggest struggles you're facing right now with content creation? Now, if you're responsible for employee training, you know that that pressure is only increasing. Organizations today are under constant pressure to upskill employees faster, keep pace with change, and deliver training, again, at scale. The challenge isn't knowing what training actually needs to be delivered. It's creating that training quickly enough to meet your business demands. Now, before I do jump into the demo, I want to frame how we think about this one tool I'm showing you. Today, we're going to be looking at Lumi, which is Brightspace's AI companion. Now, for most learning teams, the challenge, again, isn't coming up with those training ideas. It's finding the time to build and update that content quickly. Now, what Brightspace and Lumi is going to do for us, it's going to help us reduce some of that manual effort. It's built directly within the places that you're already creating content, and it helps you get from that source material all the way to a learning experience much faster. The most important thing I want us to keep in mind is that your team always stays in control. You're the expert. Brightspace's AI companion, Lumi, is just there to help accelerate that process. Now, before I show you what that looks like, I want to call out the obvious here. It's a Monday, and we're at the end of the day. I know that brings out our quieter side, but I'm asking for a favor here. If there's something we love, throw out an emoji. If there's something we're kind of unsure about, let's ask a question in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to think I'm leaving you speechless, and that's likely not going to be the case. So I'm going to jump into Brightspace, and we're going to see that I'm logged in here. I'm going to move some things around. Lovely. Excellent. I'm seeing some hearts. Already happy for a Monday afternoon. So I'm logged in as an admin, and I'm here on my content creation page. Now I'm going to start at the very beginning. We're going to make a brand new module. We're going to start entirely from scratch. I'm going to look out for sparkles. Anytime I see sparkles in Brightspace, I know that there's a little bit of AI assistance that can help me there. Now, traditionally, this is where your learning team spends hours organizing content. Sorry, lost something here. Wonderful. This is where your team is spending those hours building out that content. And it's that foundational structure. Personally, I think this is the most time-consuming part, especially if I'm not the subject matter expert. Now, most organizations already have training content sitting in PowerPoints, PDFs, or existing documentation. Instead of rebuilding that content manually, we can just transform those assets into learning experiences more efficiently. I'm going to add a quick template into these pages. So what I did is I uploaded a PowerPoint. It's a quick 4-slide leadership PowerPoint. I'm going to attach a template for all of them. And I'm going to ask Brightspace to generate that content. What Brightspace is doing now is it's not only capturing the content on those slides, it's also capturing my speaker notes and incorporating them both together. It's also adding alternative text to all of my images, ensuring that everything that I'm building is going to remain 100% accessible. I can see that everything is pending review, keeping that human at the center of every interaction. I'm going to proceed to my content, and I'm going to see a new module pop up at the bottom, right here. I have a visual indicator letting me know that this visibility is blocked until that content has been reviewed. I can either review that content right here and make it visible for my learners, or I can go into the page and review it from here. Now, if you've ever used Microsoft Word once in your entire life, building content in Brightspace is a breeze. I'm going to review my AI content here, and I can see what Brightspace has pulled from that PowerPoint for me. Now, one of the biggest challenges we hear is keeping learning content very current. Rather than rewriting content every time something changes, we can now modify with AI. I can very simply choose maybe increase or decrease some of that complexity. And maybe this is a course I have for my C-suite executives, but some of the fundamentals are really good here for my new hires. Maybe that's what I want Lumi to kind of translate this content into. I'm going to give it some instructions. And you know what? I'm going to ask it to add in some scenarios. We're not going to look at any spelling here. I'm also going to ask Brightspace to add in some interactive elements here. Now I'm going to click generate. And while that's going, I want us to talk a little bit around what our responsibility around AI is, because this might take us a minute here. So we've built AI within Brightspace around the principle that every AI interaction is human-centered. And what's coded into the AI is to generate from the exact place we're pointing. So right now, we've told Lumi to generate from this page. What that means is Lumi isn't looking at the internet. It's not looking at other pages in this course. It's not looking at other courses in your Brightspace instant. It doesn't hallucinate. And most importantly, it doesn't store your content. It also doesn't train the model on it. Once this generation is complete, the content that it used is wiped from its memory. We'll give this another second here while it finishes generating. And the great thing about this is it's not going to replace my page either. I'm going to be able to see both iterations, and I can choose if I want it to replace the current page, or maybe I just want to add a new page in. A couple of other features that Brightspace and Lumi can do is not only just modify this content and remix it, as I like to say, but we can also build out additional content. And after this, we'll take a look at, oh, here we go. I can see at the top, I've got my iteration 1, and I can go back and see the original. So I'll scroll through the original. I can see it's a little static, just some images, just some text here. And let's see what Lumi's done for us. I've got the images here, I've got the text. I can see it's expanded quite a bit here. I've got some tabs here that I can click and open up. And I've got some callouts here. Now, if I wanted Lumi to condense this content, it could have done that for me too. We're going to go ahead and replace this page. And now I've got that content that Lumi generated for me here. We'll save and close. So far, we've created a module. maybe a foundation block for us. I can see that I've got 3 pages here. If I go into my module, it's pretty blank. My learners don't really know what they're expecting when they can come in. I can go in and edit and quickly generate a module summary here for us as well. While this is a simple feature, I think it's actually one of my favorite features. So one, I can ask Lumi to include everything in this entire module or very specific pages. We'll go with everything. When I'm building content, I'm not the subject matter expert. So now having to take perhaps 8 pages in one module and condense that down into 5 or 6 sentences is entirely time consuming. While what Lumi is going to do is it's going to give us 3 options. It's going to give us a summary in a first person, where something I will learn. It's going to give it to us in a second person, you will learn, and then an overview of what this module has in store. I can insert that. Now I feel comfortable that any learner coming in is going to be fully prepared for what they can expect in this course. Now we've got our module, we've got the 1 page that we edited together. I'll make that visible, but I don't have any assessments here. Let's create something new. Now, whether I choose to add in perhaps a discussion or an assignment, the process is going to be the same for both. Let's go ahead with a discussion. And I can again look out for my sparkles and generate some discussion ideas. Same process as before, I can choose where I want Lumi to look. Let's get 3 ideas. I want to select what Bloom's taxonomy I want my learners to demonstrate, if I have any specific instructions, and then I can either point at the specific place in Brightspace, or maybe I want to copy and paste some text in. Maybe there was an article that my learners had read. Let's do everything in this unit and generate. The great thing about the content creation with Lumi is I can use it as I see fit. Maybe in its absolute entirety, I don't want to change a single word of it. Maybe just as a stepping stone, it sparked an idea that I actually want to change the direction of this idea. Or if I don't like it at all, I don't need to use it whatsoever. I can still go in and edit this however I want. So far in our module, we've built out that skeleton where we uploaded a PowerPoint. We've edited a little bit of 1 page, and we added in a module summary. We've also added in a discussion, which could also be an assignment, but there's no knowledge check here for us. Now, if I want to create those knowledge check questions, I can do that right in Brightspace. I'm going to go to my quizzes tool here, and I'm going to go into our question library. I see my sparkles, and I know I can generate some questions here. How many questions I want, what type of questions, and again, what Bloom's taxonomy I want my learners to demonstrate. Any custom instructions, and again, pointing at the very specific spot I want Lumi to generate from. We'll go into our leadership module, the 1 page we built together. My favorite thing about this is including feedback. When we're building out these quiz questions or these knowledge checks, not only do I have to have the right answer, but I need to have 3 or 4 incorrect answers. Now, when we want feedback to help that learning journey go through, now I have to come up with 4 different pieces of feedback for those 4 questions. I'm going to ask Lumi to generate that feedback for me as well. And even in this process, everything is going to remain human-led. I have full capabilities to edit each question, keep it in its entirety. I can also send feedback back to the D2L team, letting them know that these prompts are good, these prompts aren't good. And then that gives the tools we need, that gives us the information we need to generate those prompts better. I can see these are all still pending review. Let's see, this one, yep, let's say this looks good. I'm going to keep it next. This one is actually incorrect here. I'll update that one. This one's not good at all. Let's discard that. And we'll keep this one. Now I can see those indicators changed a little bit. This one's been reviewed. This one's been edited by a human and approved. I can save this to my section. And if I want to save it to an entirely different category or a subset of questions, I can do that as well. As an admin, I have visibility into what has been generated by AI. My learners will not see that on the back end. Now, I've already built out a quiz that has some data in here, so I'm going to use that. And I can go in and edit this activity. Now I'll see the quiz questions that I have in this, and we'll again see the indication. There are some that are AI generated, some were typed out all on their own. This isn't the only thing that we can do when it comes to AI for these quizzes. We also have study support. So I'm going to turn this on. Now what study support is going to do is it's going to take the content that's in Brightspace, this quiz, and then it's going to assist my learners when they're completing this quiz. This is great for those compliance courses where we have, let's say, 5 modules with 5 pages each, and I need an 80% to pass, but I'm sitting at a 79. Now I have to go back into 25 pages to find that one question that I got wrong. With study support, it's going to point me to the exact page where that content exists. So I'm going to tell Lumi, yep, this is everything that I want it to look at. We'll say next here. Oh, okay, let's click them. I'll hit apply, and I'm going to activate study support. We'll save and close that. Before we see what this looks like as a learner experience, I want us to see some of the data that's collected here. So I've got a learner, Dwight Halpert. I'm a huge fan of The Office, so I've combined 2 of my favorite characters here. He's gone through this quiz about 97 times. Now I can see that my class here is struggling with one specific quiz question. The content page that is being suggested the most is this page. And the page that most of my learners are clicking on is this one here. I'm going to switch over as Dwight here, and I'm going to go through this quiz together. So I'm logged in as a learner. I can see there's a call out that study support has been turned on for this knowledge check. I'm going to start this quiz. I've got some simple quiz questions here. I've got some matching, some multiple choice, some true or false, some fill in the blank. We're not going to do very well on this quiz, I don't think. Some ordering and some true or false. I'm going to submit that quiz. And I get this call out here. Based on my results, I would benefit from viewing this content. So from questions 1, 4, 5, and 6, I can go right here and fill those gaps. A lot of the times we talk about barriers when it comes to learning, and more often than not, what we've heard is that's just extra clicks. And now we're removing those barriers. So when we're thinking about those compliance courses, I don't have to click through 25 different pages of content to find that one place where I missed a little bit of information. Because let's be honest, this might not be the only thing that people are doing in their day-to-day lives at their jobs. Now, what we've seen so far in Brightspace and with Lumi is how we can help organizations close that gap between identifying what a learning need is and delivering that training to drive action. By reducing the time that we're spending on content creation, on updating, on supporting content, your organization can now respond more quickly to those changing workforce needs. It is a Monday afternoon. Now, with that, I'm going to stop my share here. We're going to see a poll pop up. Now, if you'd like to see what your content might look like added into Brightspace with the support of Lumi, we'd be delighted to show you in real time how Brightspace and Lumi can take some of your current content to a higher level and what that can look like live. So I'll give that poll a couple of minutes, but I'd be happy to open it up for some questions here.
Yes, everybody, I'll give you a couple seconds. As I say, a little quiet in the chat, but I know, Katarina, you kind of already answered this question, but there was a question earlier, maybe you can dive a little bit deeper, and was kind of a common theme question in the other sessions. When you were talking about the content, they were confirming, so the content can be kept on our own servers. So could you dive a little bit more deeper into that specifically?
Yeah, 100%. So anything that you're building in Brightspace is yours entirely. There is nothing being held at any of our facilities that we have any sort of access to. Everything in Brightspace is entirely yours, and you have full control and autonomy over it.
Beautiful. Yes, as I say, we do have about 12 more minutes, everybody. So if you have any more questions for the D2L team, I know there were a couple emojis as you were kind of going through, and I think it was specifically about, oh, another great question, but I think it was specifically about how you can kind of see where the human touch was. So I think we all can kind of relate on that. But Michael had another great question. How does D2L integrate with HRISSs? How can we assign learning paths based on their job title question?
Yeah, great question, Michael. So we can use job titles, we call them attributes, and we would associate those with learning groups. So if I'll use a personal example here. I started off at the company as a business development rep. So when I was enrolled into the system, I was given all of the courses associated to my title, which Brightspace saw as an attribute. When I switched roles into a solutions engineer and my title switched, I was unenrolled out of all of my business development courses and automatically enrolled into my solutions engineering courses. And the integration with HRISs, we have a couple of out of the box integrations, but we can always scope that out. And we have a team that can build out some of those integrations as well.
Beautiful. And then Stephanie had a great question. Company branding, dot, dot, dot. Can I inject my company's colors, logos during content creation or handled at the end of the course building?
Yeah, both if you want, Stephanie. The entire navigation of Brightspace can match your colors all together. It can be a completely white gloved experience for you. When it comes to those templates, you can upload yours entirely. During implementation, we can help build them out for you as well with your colors, with your branding. There's also a content styler. So if you upload your colors, everything in Brightspace is going to match that.
Beautiful. Sorry, I don't think there's any questions. So is there anything additional that maybe you didn't dive into as super much because you were trying to be conscious on time? Anything else you would like to share with the audience today? Because they're staying. So clearly they're intrigued.
Well, I
So
love this. I thought I was being kind, giving you guys a couple of minutes on a Monday. And I was kind of rushing through too and stumbling a little bit on my words. But yeah, I think the story around AI when it comes to Brightspace is we're not trying to make Lumi smarter. So I mentioned it earlier, it's not learning from you, it's not learning from the internet. We're just trying to make Lumi better. So every prompt that you ask it to do and every piece of content you're asking it to generate is just generating better. Now, the downside to that is if I upload the same PowerPoint twice, I'm going to get slightly different results. But in our opinion, it's much better than holding on to your IP and learning from it.
perfect. Beautifully said. Well, if that is all the questions we have, I'm going to give a couple of people a couple more shakes just in case they have any. But if that's all the questions they have, Japneen, is there anything else you would leave with the audience today before we wrap it up for today's event?
No, to be honest, we'd be happy to talk to you. Even if we're not looking to make any sort of changes now, it's always good to understand what can happen to our content and what it could possibly look like maybe this year, maybe 3 years from now. So no matter what, feel free to reach out.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I appreciated the office
Yeah.
commentary as well. I know someone else was also laughing. But no, I appreciate that. I appreciate today's demo. I hope that addressed all your questions, everyone. And if you have any more, if you're like me, a little shy, I want to talk off the side, totally reach out to the D2L team. But with that, thank you so much, Janine. Perfect. So for everyone else, I do want to essentially give out a couple more shout outs as we wrap up today. So again, thank you so much. And thank you to all of our dynamic speakers and sponsors today. We had Adobe, D2L, Litmos, Instructor, and 360 Learning. So again, thank you so much. All of today's sessions are pre-qualified for a credit hour by SHRM, HRCI, ISPI, and CBTM. So if you need any one of those codes, please send an email to me. Good news, if you're a CBTM, you can just utilize your tracker. So you just put your event there. But if you're having any difficulties, please do not hesitate to reach out to our team. Additionally, we have our in-person event next week. So I can't wait to see you all here. If you're here, stop by the registration desk. I would love to see you. Entice is where learning leaders like you gathers to forge new professional connections. You learn from each other and address your most pressing learning challenges. So I can't wait to see you there. Additionally, we have our sale going on. So our June sale is live. You can save 10% on any course using that code there. And this is just, strengthening skills and strategic planning, AI essentials, whatever your needs are, we probably have them. So register before June 30th to get that deal. Lastly, one last reminder, a survey will pop open in another tab in your browser, and we would greatly welcome your feedback. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. I don't see any other questions, so we'll give everybody some time back. Until next time, to that point, happy Monday, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we will see you all soon. Bye, everybody.